The iPhone Ultra may be coming in 2024 with 10 incredible new features that'll make the iPhone feel exciting again. When it comes to Apple, I'm as big of a fanboy as they come. These cringy old photos will be my proof, but as much as I love the iPhone 15, exciting is not a word I'd use to describe it. But that's about to change, because I've done some digging in Apple's darkest secrets, poring over concepts, all of Apple's patents, and little hints and clues they've dropped over the years that could give us a glimpse as to what is coming next. So I have done my homework here to find the top 10 most exciting new features coming to the iPhone Ultra. Here's what Apple could be planning next, and here is what very well could be, cross my fingers here, the most exciting iPhone we have ever seen in the iPhone's almost 17 years in existence. Okay, so before anyone asks, let me sort of explain what the iPhone Ultra is, because it's not a part of the regular iPhone 16 lineup. The iPhone 16, 16 Plus, 16 Pro, 16 Pro Max, those are going to exist, but this iPhone might just be different and above everything else in the 16 series. Back in 2022, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman hinted that Apple was working on an Ultra iPhone, but this one was basically like a rebranded Pro Max that would have a couple of new higher-end features that would sort of be the new sort of high-end iPhone 15. Obviously, that didn't happen because the iPhone 15 Pro Max exists today, but for the iPhone 16 lineup in 2024, that's not gonna be the case. That rumor has now sort of evolved, and there is new speculation that this could be an addition to the iPhone 16 lineup, again sitting above the iPhone 16 Pro Max as the new highest-end iPhone that has the best features, maybe a new striking design, and of course, let me just get this sort of out of the way first in the video here, this is undoubtedly gonna be like the most expensive iPhone we've probably ever seen. And personally, while I'm not a fan of spending a lot of money, I do think an iPhone Ultra here does make sense and is sort of needed. iPhone sales have sort of been slumping over the last couple of years, and as Apple's Wall Street performance sort of continues to flounder, they definitely need some excitement, some infusion in the Apple lineup that is a big mass market hit. And as excited as I am for Vision Pro, even I, an Apple fanboy, will tell you that this is not gonna be an instant hit, especially at $3,500. I think the technology is awesome, but it's not gonna be a huge hit anytime soon, which means that in the meantime, Apple needs to do something to their most popular lineup, the iPhone, to make it a bit more exciting and fresh and new, and that could sort of be where the iPhone Ultra comes in to sort of save the day. So one of the first big exclusive features that an iPhone Ultra could have could be a new camera, giving us for the first time a quad camera setup on this iPhone Ultra. Mark Gurman, again over at Bloomberg, suggests that this is a feature we may see, and while it's unclear what this additional camera could be or what it could do, it could be nice to have some more versatility in the iPhone's camera system. Maybe this is like a real true telephoto lens. Maybe it's 10x or something crazy. Maybe it's a more high quality ultra wide lens or something we haven't seen. Some more versatility would be cool to see here. And also what would be nice to see is 8K video recording, as the iPhone has definitely become more and more of a pro video camera these days. Even Apple themselves using it to shoot that latest event, mostly there. 8K video recording has been sort of a rumor for a while, and as these chipsets sort of improve and the camera quality improves and all that stuff, 8K could certainly be a possibility, and 8K ProRes log capabilities on an iPhone Ultra certainly makes sense for the pros and enthusiasts who really want to use this thing to be their main video camera. But it should probably go without saying that no Apple product is without some controversy, and the iPhone Ultra is no exception. It is not spared from what could be a very controversial move here, with one of those changes potentially being the removal of the port. Even though we just went from Lightning to USB-C, Apple could decide to ditch the port on the iPhone Ultra and finally go totally portless. Now, I'm not saying this is for sure 100% definitely happening, but we do know this has been something that Apple has been at least experimenting with for the last couple of years, and definitely something it seems like they want to do, as they don't like being told what to do and all these new laws and regulations that they've got to use this port or make that change. Apple doesn't like being bossed around, and maybe what they might do to comply is just remove ports entirely, starting first with this iPhone Ultra. And especially as we've seen Apple continue to double down on their silicon capabilities, and we've heard that Apple is pretty close to finishing their own custom in-house cell modem, there is a good chance that Apple could replace a lot of what you do with a wired cable, CarPlay, diagnostics, transferring footage at high rates of speed, and sort of replacing that functionality and bringing it to better higher-end wireless chips that live in the iPhone. So if you wanted to do high-speed photo and video transfer, you could do that with new Apple Silicon inside. You could do remote diagnostics. There are a couple of ways Apple could go here, but it seems like if they do go portless, they'd have a good solution for giving you wired speeds over wireless, which seems like it's closer to happening these days than it's ever been before. Now, I think one of the biggest changes that we could see, and something that could really make the iPhone Ultra super exciting and super noteworthy, would be some sort of major change to the design of this phone. If Apple really wants to make the iPhone Ultra really ultra, the design has got to be top-notch, next level, and that could actually be happening with this new phone. For years, we've gotten so many leaks, rumors, insider tips that Apple is working on a foldable iPhone, and it's been in some sort of range of development for the last couple of years. It could be a folding phone like a Z Flip or something like a Z Fold. We don't exactly know what form factor Apple is going with, but we know that time and time again, we've been told that yes, Apple is experimenting with a folding phone, and the iPhone could be folding in the not too distant future. And while the world of Android folding phones have sort of seen mixed results, it has proven that there is a vocal fan base who does love this form factor, and while it's not mainstream yet, it wouldn't have to be. Apple doesn't have to bring a folding form factor to the iPhone 16 or the 16 Pro. They could do it and sort of experiment with the iPhone Ultra and then see if people like this idea or not, and then sort of bring it down. They could iron out the kinks, they could see what works and what doesn't. Apple isn't really one to sort of do experimentation in the open, but I do think if Apple's looking for something to really wow people into buying the iPhone Ultra, some sort of big form factor change, probably going foldable, would be something that would definitely make many of us go, wow, and, well, at least love it or hate it, we want to try it. Another big change we could see could be the removal of the entire notch system, moving Face ID totally under the display. Recent patents reveal that Apple has been hard at work on this for a while now, and it looks like they are getting closer and closer to finally moving all of the Face ID components under the display and giving us an iPhone with no notch, no cutout, no nothing. You'd probably still have the dynamic island, but it'd be totally software based, so it could sort of be there when you need it, it'd be out of the way when you didn't need it, and it'd be beautiful to have an iPhone with no obstruction on the display. Some Apple patents also reveal that the iPhone Ultra could be very much like an iPad, actually being able to work with an Apple Pencil, and maybe even other physical products that go on the display. Anyone else think this sort of looks like the Surface Dial? This has been another rumor that's been around for a while, and while Steve Jobs famously hated the idea of a stylus on the iPhone, maybe Apple makes an exception for the one stylus they actually sell that they like, which is the Apple Pencil. Having Apple Pencil support on the iPhone to some seems ridiculous, others think that this actually could make a lot of sense and be kind of cool. And I did so much digging into patents, and there is so much I could talk about here, but a couple of more I do think that are worth noting here. One is that I found over and over again that Apple has just an obsession with the iPhone and water. They have seemingly hundreds of patents of an iPhone working underwater and working without a case and underwater cameras and features. And also there's a little patent here that might look sort of familiar to those of you who have been around the iPhone for a while. It's a patent about an optical fingerprint detection system, maybe otherwise known as a little feature called Touch ID. We used to have Touch ID built into the button, but we've heard rumors for years and years now that Apple is working to bring back Touch ID potentially under the display, not just like in one little area, but like the entire bottom of the screen. You could put your finger anywhere and it would unlock with the power of Touch ID. This has been a rumor for a while, not sure if it's needed with Face ID getting better and better, but an iPhone Ultra, to really be ultra and have everything, could maybe have both Face ID and Touch ID. So you could use whatever you'd prefer, or maybe even both if you wanted to super securely lock down your phone. And finally, we've heard that Apple could be giving the iPhone Ultra a bigger and better display, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because the iPhone 16 Pro Max, the highest end iPhone, is supposed to go from a 6.7-inch screen to a 6.9-inch screen. So I'm not sure if the iPhone Ultra is going to be 7 inches or above. It sort of seems to be getting like an iPad mini territory, so I'm not sure how big the screen could be, but that is a rumor. And also, we've seen concepts for a while of a rear screen on the iPhone. And while some think this looks ridiculous, I'm in the camp that actually this might be kind of useful, especially for different things. If you got your iPhone sort of sitting face down, looking at things at a glance, or maybe using it as a sort of preview viewfinder while you take pictures, sort of this way for like vlogging, I don't know. It does make for a very interesting concept and render, and actually the more I look at it and see it in these videos, the cooler I think it is. Not sure if it serves a lot of, actual useful purpose, but maybe something Apple considers with the iPhone Ultra. So I want to get your thoughts down below on two big questions. One is that if Apple made an iPhone Ultra, what features would you love to see? Let me know down below. And also, what are your thoughts on the iPhone? Do you think it's exciting? Am I totally wrong here? Is the iPhone 15 series the best iPhone Apple's ever made? Or do you think there's a chance here and an opportunity for Apple to make the iPhone exciting again? Make it new, make it different, make it just, I don't know, a little bit more interesting than it's been before. Let me know your thoughts down below. We can discuss. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much for your support. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.